Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar. And here's a brand new halacha for you. And it's for Thursday, the third day of May. Here we go. A lot of you are familiar with how at certain points of davening you're not allowed to speak, like during Shema or whatever. And that's a concept that's quite familiar to everybody. But what you might not know is that there are a couple of times when you're not only not allowed to speak, but you're not even allowed to communicate in any way, shape, or form. Like even if you would want to say to a person, or 1 minute or something, just with the motion with your fingers. There are a couple of points in our davening and other things when you're not even allowed to do that, not even allowed to communicate with a wink or a 1 minute sign or whatever. I'll tell you when they are. First of all, when you're in the middle of putting on your tefillin, from the time that you start the main loop around your arm until the shalrosh is tightly tightened onto your head. During that time, the way the phrases of the Chumash are phrased, they give the indication that God wants us to be like tefillin, arm tefillin, head tefillin, immediate, nothing in between. For sure, no talking. Not only because you made a bracha, but because the two mitzvahs must be attached to each other with no communication whatsoever. So much so that if someone came by to talk to you and said, "Hi, how you doing?" you would not be allowed to even motion to them like the 1 minute sign. You would just have to continue poker face on with what you're doing. Explain to them later, sorry, I wasn't allowed to answer to you then. Okay, that's really how the law works. This law also applies during the recital of Shema. During the whole 3 paragraphs of Shema, the way Shema works is that you are not supposed to be communicating at all, not even with a wink, not even with a clap, or not even with any motion whatsoever. I'm going to quickly tell you a story about how one time a rabbi in the time of the Gemara was in the middle of saying Shema. He had been sitting in a little booth where he was selling stuff. An Arab merchant came over, noticed a beautiful item, and said, "I'll give you 5 gold coins for that." And the rabbi didn't respond because he was in the middle of Shema. No response whatsoever. So the Arab merchant took that as a sign that he wanted him to bargain higher. So he said, "Okay, 10 gold coins." No response. He said, "Okay, 50 gold coins." No response. So the guy finally got to 500 gold coins and still no response. And then finally the rabbi finished Shema and said, "Yep, you can buy it for 5 gold coins." He said, "First you bargain me up to 500 gold coins and then you give it to me for 5 gold coins?" He said, "Well, actually, I didn't bargain you up to 500. I just was praying and I couldn't respond. You bargained yourself up to 500 gold coins, and I feel that's improper for me to rip you off like that. 5 was the fair price. I'm giving it to you for that." Needless to say, the Arab merchant was tremendously impressed with the rabbi's integrity, and what the rabbi was doing was actually today's halacha, that you're not allowed to communicate at all during Shema or while you're putting on your tefillin. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.